Political communication is a magic trick performed in plain sight. The audience watches the waving hand while the other palm conceals the card. In the voter ID debate, that sleight of hand has become an art form, one that transforms narrow statistical truths into sweeping moral generalizations. The mechanism is deceptively simple. Advocates opposing voter ID requirements frequently cite that many people lack identification. This claim, delivered with appropriate gravity, conjures images of millions of citizens stripped of their basic documentation, no licenses, no proof of existence. The emotional weight is undeniable. The implied injustice is palpable. The only problem is that the claim is technically true while being strategically misleading. Here is what the data actually reveals. According to a 2024 University of Maryland survey, approximately 2.6 million Americans lack any form of photo ID. This is not an insignificant number. These citizens face genuine barriers to participation, and their circumstances deserve serious policy consideration. However, this figure stands in stark contrast to the broader claim that many people lack IDs, when that phrase is left deliberately ambiguous. The rhetorical pivot occurs in the specifics. When opponents emphasize passport ownership statistics, citing that 146 million Americans lack valid passports, they are selecting the most dramatic number available. Passports are expensive. They require international travel intent. They are irrelevant to domestic voting. Yet, by foregrounding passport statistics while backgrounding driver's license ownership, which 93% of adults possess, the narrative manufactures a crisis. This is framing as weapon. The technique follows a predictable architecture. First, identify a genuine disparity. Second, select the most alarming metric. Third, generalize that specific deficiency into an implied universal condition. Fourth, wrap the entire construction in moral urgency. The effectiveness of this approach is not accidental. These tactics succeed because they bypass analytical cognition and strike directly at emotional response. Concerns about fairness are legitimate. When political messaging aligns with these values, it creates motivated reasoning, the tendency to accept info that confirms beliefs. Once such a narrative achieves critical mass, it becomes self-reinforcing. Individuals who distrust voter ID legislation accept the claim without scrutiny. The statistic spreads through social networks, each share adding a veneer of legitimacy. Media outlets repeat the talking point in a circular reference. Within weeks, a selective interpretation hardens into conventional wisdom. But this pattern recognizes no partisan loyalty. Across the spectrum, the same playbook appears. Advocates highlight the most extreme data points. They generalize from small subsets to entire populations. They deploy emotionally charged language. They present partial truths in ways that imply larger, unsupported conclusions. The voter ID debate merely illustrates a broader pathology in modern discourse. The incentive structure rewards simplification over accuracy, virality over veracity, emotional resonance over empirical rigor. Complex issues involving socioeconomic disparities and administrative capacity become reduced to binary moral pronouncements. Understanding these mechanics does not resolve the underlying policy questions. Whether voter ID requirements are appropriate remains a legitimate subject of debate. But that debate deserves honest data, clearly presented, without the manipulative architecture that treats citizens as targets of persuasion. The defense against such tactics is procedural discipline, the willingness to examine primary sources, to distinguish between correlation and causation. Every citizen who develops this capacity strengthens the infrastructure of democratic deliberation. The trick only works when the audience refuses to look at the concealed hand.